Now, I wanted just to remind ourselves of this little thing that we looked at. Now, this is available on Sector or Connect. You can look this up. And it looks at saying, okay, we're talking about the share market, but there are other things people invest their money in. They invest their money in bank accounts, which we call cash, and properties. They go out, they buy a property, a house or a unit, and they rent it out to someone and they hope that it goes up in value when they sell it. So let's start by talking about cash. Okay, that means going up to the bank and opening a bank account. Cash, though, tends to have a pretty low rate of return. A great thing you could do for the assignment, go and look up what some bank accounts are paying. Put into the search engine like Google, put high interest bank accounts Australia and see which ones come up. Ubank is a good one to have a look at, one of the best rates. And the rate will only be around 2 to 3%. It won't be that high. So for every $100, if you put $100 into that bank account now, in 12 months' time, it'll be like $102 or $103. Not very exciting, but it will have gone up a little bit. Cash investments, though, have never fallen in value. Remember, that's one of the risks of investing in shares. They do fall from time to time. Okay, property is the next thing. Property is about going out and buying a house. The average price of property in Queensland is a bit over $450,000. Yeah.
Can I borrow Allery for a second?
Absolutely. So $450,000. Now, the problem with buying a house at $450,000 is that most of us don't have $450,000 sitting down behind the couch, right? You've got to go and borrow that money, so there's risk that's involved with borrowing that money. Okay, but over long periods of time, the benefits of investing in houses and in property has been better than investing in cash. Right? And there are risks around. If you don't find someone to rent your property and you've still got to pay interest on your loan, that's not such a good thing. Right? Shares. Here's where we come to some interesting elements around shares. So more than half of Australians, adult Australians, own shares. A lot of people do. They hope it'll go up in value. They hope it'll pay dividends. But there are risks. And hopefully you've talked about that, the fact that some shares fall in value. Now, to illustrate what returns have happened, up on Sector there's a report, the long-term investing report. And it has some interesting tables that you guys might like to use the data in. It's put out by the Stock Exchange. Now, let's have a look at some of these. I just want to look, there's a lot of writing, but it's fairly complex. Let's just have a look at some of these tables. This first one looks at returns from different investments for the last 10 years, the 10 years here. And so they're saying this is your Australian share return has been 9.4% per year, and property investments 5.4% each year. If you go a little bit further on, here, this I think is a really, really key graph. It gives you the returns over the last 20 years per year from different investments. So shares have been 8.7% per year. Not many of you have given me specific information about returns. Okay? So I think it would be worth going to this document, looking for these graphs and saying, well, what return do you get from Australian shares? From cash, it's been 3.8%. From property, it's been nearly 10% a year. That would be really good information to include in your report. So that's on Sector, and I might even email it to you separately now so you can have a look through. Don't worry about all the writing unless something piques your interest. Go and have a look at the graphs and see if you can use some data to talk about the different investments that are available. Does anyone have any questions about that?